It's funny. It's come to be where by the time I get to the Fargo Fresh segment, you guys are so loosened up, and we take a break, and you say the funniest thing off the air, and it's unfortunate because you asked me, this is the Fargo Fresh segment, and you said, what is the Fargo Fresh segment? What was the unit? I said, what's the next 5 years? What do you got going on into the future? And you said,
and I said, avoid the grave. Yeah, we're laughing, but our drug, as a musician at our age, our drug of choice is Advil.
Ibuprofen's pretty great.
Yep.
I like. Hey, at 38, I like ibuprofen. Let's talk about that. Well, I don't know. I'm a pretty morbid guy, so I've been since the age of 7. I've been obsessed with. Oh my God, I'm going to die someday, and so I think that's kind of given me kind of a different edge. But once you get really close to it, you're up there.
Yeah,
you're close.
Thanks for the reminder.
You brought it up.
But you know what? But because it plays it.
Let's have a conversation about death.
About that.
Let's talk about death.
Because that does play into us as a musician. When you realize that, my God, I've been doing this for all these years. When you're a musician, you have to play enough stuff that people like, but you may not necessarily like. At our age, we're kind of saying, screw it. We've earned the right to play the stuff we want to play, and we're going to play it the way we want to play it. I hope you like it, but here we go. But you know what that happens then? You play with a different level of energy.
Yeah,
totally different level of energy.
It's far more attractive when you've got to find that line though.
Yeah.
You got to find that line.
Yeah, we're always struggling to find that line. Stuff that we really want to do, that people really want to hear, and stuff that brings people on the dance floor.
So I told you before, I listen to a lot of podcasts, and many of them are run by stand-up comedians, and they talk about honing the craft and being on stage, and then you with your music and being on stage. In a lot of ways, I sympathize. I can't get out because I got family, but during business hours, I can come in here to do the show. Mm-hmm. This is my craft. This is my art. So I understand a lot where it's you're working on it, and at first you just want to do, what is somebody going to like, and eventually you can just kind of shed that. But have you been doing funk? We never even talked about what kind of music you do. Have you been doing funk the whole time? When did funk get? Because funk is a whole thing.
It is
it's a thing. It's a thing.
Yeah, we don't do just funk, but because there's so other few people in town that do that, we find that people like it. We like it, and it's not just funk. It's also stuff like Boz Scaggs' Lowdown, or
do you ever try to cover Yes? That's got to be tough.
No, we've never tried
a 30-minute song.
we probably could. When we started off though,
you got to get an organ.
The one thing we did say to each other is, let's not play all the same old crap that every other band plays. We'll sprinkle it in every now and then, because it's almost like being a comedian and doing dick jokes, right? You do them because it's a safe way to get a laugh, right?
Yeah.
And there's certain songs that the guy can play that people are gonna come out and dance floor. We're trying to find stuff that is just really good material. And frankly, we do a lot of stuff that requires a little bit more musicianship that maybe other bands don't want to take the time to learn.
Yeah.
So,
do you have? So you don't use anything electronic?
Yeah. We're electronic. What we don't do is stuff that changes the pitch or does pitch correction or vocalization that adds layers of harmonies on top. When we sing, you're hearing our actual voice.
Yeah. Okay.
There's not a lot of. Of course, we use electronic keyboards, and the guitar player plays through a pedal that gives him effects and things like that. But what I'm saying is, all the other stuff that makes it sound less than organic, we don't use that stuff.
So is this just going to keep going until somebody dies, or what's the end? Is that going to be the end of the band? Or are you going to start replacing parts?
I'm already replacing parts of my body. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. Yeah. We're just gonna. We've settled in now like an old married couple, I think.
Yeah.
And we just really enjoy each other. Our rehearsals are intense, really intense.
Yeah.
At our age, we can say to one another, "No, that line ain't working," and not fear that that's going to cause an argument.
Yeah.
We can just be honest with each other, and that's that honesty that creates a better outcome at the end, I think.
Is it all covers, or do you have original songs?
We do have some original songs. I think I got one you can queue up.
Oh, sure.
It's called
yeah.
Wish I May. And you know what? Here's the thing. Our lead guitarist and singer, Paul Yarber, fantastic writer. I mean, he's got a whole bunch of stuff. So my dream looking ahead is I just got back late last night from Muscle Shoals, Alabama. I know that your listeners have probably never heard of Muscle Shoals, but it's a little recording studio in the countryside of Alabama. And this is where, Aretha Franklin, Bob Dylan, the Rolling Stones, Bob Seger, Cher, I mean, all the great artists of the from the 60s all the way through the 80s recorded there. And I'm thinking, why would they go to Muscle Shoals, Alabama? In fact, it's so famous as a recording studio that there's a song by Leonard Skinner called Sweet Home Alabama. And you've heard Sweet Home Alabama.
Well, I've heard the song.
Everybody's heard the song.
And I've seen Con Air.
Yeah. But somewhere it's like in, I think, the second or third verse, they reference Muscle Shoals has got the Swampers. The Swampers was, get this is a bit of musical history for you. The Swampers were 4 local boys in their mid-30s, late 40s, that lived in Muscle Shoals, and they were the backing band for all these great artists like Aretha Franklin, Wilson Pickett, all the great Motown stuff that became classics in the 60s. Let's play with a bunch of white boys in Alabama. Isn't that fascinating?
Yeah.
Or like, I'm sure there's a great classic song by the Rolling Stones called Wild Horses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when I took the tour on Saturday, the tour guy was saying that's the bathroom where Keith Richards holed up for 2 hours. He came out and he had Wild Horses written. I think, well, damn, I took a dump on on the same stool.
Yeah.
But anyway, long story short,
a lot of history there.
So I met the engineer that still records there, and we were talking about bringing Stella down to do just the history of the place. Yeah. That's got to be inspiring. So I'm going to try. The band doesn't even know yet. I'm breaking news here, Conrad, today. I'd like to bring the band down. Paul's got 4, 5, 6 more great original. It's kind of like funky, jazzy, funky. Do you like Steely Dan type stuff?
Oh, God.
Am I right?
You and I.
That's us.
You and I.
That's us.
Yeah.
Okay,
does
that help?
Look. You're the man I've been waiting for my whole life. You and I.
Where have you been all my life?
Yeah, you and I. We're going to be good friends moving forward. I can tell. But that is all the time for friendship we have. We're going to jump out when we come back in. Frequently asked questions, so don't go nowhere.